Have you ever wondered what starting a YouTube channel is really like, especially in the first few months when you're just getting started? I see a lot of videos from massive creators about how I got 100,000 subscribers in 3 months, or how I made a viral YouTube video that made me famous overnight. And while that's inspiring and I'm sure is quite enticing when you're someone scrolling and wondering what videos to watch, they don't feel that realistic to me. And I know statistically they're not realistic. I've been posting consistently on YouTube once a week for 2 months. So I thought I'd make a video on the sort of thing that I would have liked to watch in the first couple of months of YouTube, or even that I'd like to watch now. And while I don't have 100,000 subscribers, I do have some real stats, lessons, and a few thoughts about the process so far. Hello, my name is Freya and I'm a doctor working on Boonwurrung land in Melbourne, Australia. And today I'm breaking down the lessons I learned in my first 2 months on YouTube. What worked, what didn't, and some of my goals for the next couple of months. So the kind of juicy details that I'm sure are the most interesting for everyone are my stats. Now I'm 2 months into YouTube. So I have 135 subscribers, nearly 3,000 total views, and a lot of insights. So 1 month in was when I hit my first 1,000 views. So that was after 4 uploads. By 6 weeks was when I cracked my first 100 subscribers. And around that same 6-week mark was when I got my first video to hit 400 views. And then 2 months in was when my watch hours hit 95.6. And what's exciting is that while the initial kind of spike and some of those initial views were mostly family and friends, I'm now not really sending my videos to anyone that I know, and I'm still seeing a kind of steady increase in the number of people watching and the duration of time that they're spending on my channel. So to look at the graphical representation, this is showing my views over the past couple of months, and you can see that there was an initial really big spike, which was me sending my first video to everyone I'd ever met. And while I've not quite hit that number again, I'm really pleased to see that you can see that kind of spike with each video that I release and a little kind of surge of views, but that baseline is gradually increasing. Looking at my watch hour graph, it looks similar, but I think the rising baseline of the number of hours per day people are spending on my channel is even more convincingly uptrending. This is exciting because I'm interpreting that to mean that my videos are getting better and people are watching for longer. So they're the juicy stats. Now what I've learned through this whole process, and partly what I've learned from my experience, but also from doing quite a lot of reading and research around the topic and hearing from big creators, mid-sized creators, and what they're saying as well. So number one, I think pretty much everyone agrees that the hardest part is getting started. And a lot of that is around embarrassment and feeling shy and not wanting anyone to see your videos and things. And I did get that to an extent, but I already do have actually a medical education podcast and an associated Instagram. So I'm a little bit used to putting myself out there, so to speak. Although I can really reflect on my experience doing those things to start off with. And I remember when I had the Instagram, I didn't post a photo of my face genuinely for the first 6 months of being on the Instagram. You would have no idea who ran the account, because I was mortified at the thought that someone I knew, one of my peers, my colleagues, my seniors, would see the Instagram and think that I was being ridiculous or thinking it was embarrassing, whatever. I got over that after a little while, and while I felt certainly pretty anxious putting up my first video, it's definitely getting easier with each one. The second hardest part is keeping going, and you've just got to put in the reps. So very, very, very few people on YouTube blow up when they first start posting. Ali Abdaal, massive doctor turned YouTuber, had published 52 videos before he hit his first 1,000 subscribers. Mr. Beast posted 460 videos before he hit his first 10,000 subscribers. And at the start, it feels like you're releasing these videos into a void, and it can be really hard to stay motivated. But I've really tried to think about something that Ali Abdaal actually said, and that's that your first 100 videos are for you, and then your second 100 videos are for the viewers. And really what that means is don't worry about how many views you're getting and everything for those first 100 videos. This is just the time where you're perfecting the craft and you're getting better at the lighting and the setup and the camera presence and all of those sorts of things. So that's what I'm really trying to focus on, is just use these first at least sort of 50 to 100 videos to just really practice getting the hang of it and improve my video quality. And then I think naturally people will gravitate towards them more and maybe share them with more of their friends and all that sort of thing. And then it's also just really right from the get-go making this process about the videos that I want to make and I want to show people and that I want to work on and I find interesting, which is helping with motivation and things as well. So I'm not actually looking at the analytics of my videos at all at the moment. And that's because with so few videos and views and, any conclusion I draw from those analytics would be statistically meaningless. I think I'd probably need at least 20 videos and at least 500 views on each video before I can really start drawing any conclusions about what the analytics are telling me. Plus, the algorithm itself needs time to work out who wants to watch my videos. So I want to give the algorithm time to find the people who might enjoy my videos rather than maybe analyzing what people that aren't that interested in my videos might be clicking through on or clicking out of once they start the video. I want to analyze the analytics, so to speak, of my target audience, which I assume is you because you're watching this far. So if you want to hit subscribe to see any future videos, then please do. All right, so my goals for the next 2 months of YouTube. And it's tempting to obsess over views and subs and everything like that, but I can't control those things. So my focus for the next couple of months is really just having goals that I can control the outcomes of. So the content goals that I have for the next 2 months is I want to continue to release weekly videos, so 8 videos. I want to do at least 2 short form videos and try that. And I want to do at least 2 posts to YouTube, because one of the things that I really enjoy about social media and doing this sort of thing is creating a sense of community and finding my people. So I think by posting community posts, that's a really great way to do that. And then one of my mindset goals is to practice what I preach about the metrics and not over analyzing and obsessing. And it's really exciting. I release a video and every single view gives me a little boost, and that's great. Then when I post a bit of a flop or it doesn't really get traction or it's a very niche topic, like something really specific about the pediatric clinical BPT exams, and it doesn't get as many views predictably, then it feels like a real bummer. And I would find myself kind of refreshing my YouTube Studio app to see if I'd had any views or any comments or anything like that. And I just really want to try and step away from that a little bit. So I've got Opal on my phone, a kind of app blocking app, and I'm blocking YouTube Studio from 5 a.m. till 5 p.m. every day. And then I couldn't resist having a couple of aspirational goals that really are completely out of my power and out of my control. But what I'm going to do is not attach any time frames to them. And it's partly because it's always fun to set goals and manifest and visualize, but also actually something I'm not very good at is being proud of myself and really celebrating my wins. So I'm trying to really focus on, look, I really want to achieve this thing and I'm going to be really happy and proud of myself when and if I get there. And I'm just really not that good at it. I know when, for example, I passed my specialty exams, I was excited in the moment and then I kind of just move on really quickly and I don't really let myself bask in the happiness of it. And it might be a little bit of the Australian kind of tall poppy, don't want to be too full of yourself culture, but it really is something I very consistently am not good at. I got married and people would come up to me 2 weeks later and they'd be like, oh, congratulations. And I'd be like, what are they talking about? Because I just moved on. So my aspirational goals are, 1, I'll be so excited when I get to 500 subscribers. So that's a huge kind of upcoming goal for me. And if you want to contribute to me hitting that goal, press subscribe. That would be awesome. Another one I'm really excited to reach is getting a genuine comment on each video, and not from friends and family or a bot, which is 99% of my comments at the moment, but a genuine person that I don't know that sees my video and likes it. So leaves a comment and tells me so, or gives me their experience. I'm really excited about that. So thanks so much for watching. If you're in a similar journey, hit subscribe to see the video that I'll release in a couple more months about my 4-month learnings on YouTube. And if you're curious about whether going part-time last year helped me to achieve my YouTube goals, then I'll link that video here. You might be surprised at the answer. See you next time.